Welcome to Dallas Skateboarding. My name is Nate, and today I want to talk breakfalls. Breakfalling is one of the first techniques that any good martial arts academy will teach to its students. I personally learned this in the context of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I find that I use this constantly now in the context of skateboarding, and so I wanted to give an introduction to this technique in hopes that it may be helpful to you as well. While there's several different variations to the breakfall, the two main techniques we want to go over are the back breakfall and the side breakfall. One way that the back breakfall is taught in Jiu-Jitsu is to get into a squatted position, and what you're going to do is cross your arms. You're going to sit back on your butt, and as you sit back on your butt, allow yourself to fall towards your back. But first, before letting your back hit the ground, allow your arms, specifically your forearms and palms, to hit the ground, and then let your back follow. And it's important that you tuck your chin here so that you don't hit your head. And the idea is that you're sort of rolling everything out gradually so that no one part of your body is hitting the ground at once, and ultimately you're protecting your back and your head from taking the full force of that impact. So for the side breakfall, it's a very similar idea where you're going to be rolling everything out, but this time you're going to be doing it on your side. So pick a hip, doesn't matter which one. I'm going to go on my right side, and when you're ready, you're going to fall to your hip more on the butt side. You don't want to fall on your knee, you want to fall on your hip up close to your butt. With that same corresponding hand, you're going to use that hand to do the breakfall smack with, and you're going to roll everything out somewhere between your shoulder blade and your ribs. Not quite all along your ribs and not quite as far back as your shoulder blade, but somewhere right in between on the side. And if done properly, everything in real time should roll out nice and evenly the same way that we did for the back breakfall. So one of the most common scenarios in which I see myself using this in the context of skateboarding is when I'm falling to a hip or shoulder side. Let's say that I'm riding goofy and I hit a rock. So as I hit this rock, I get tossed, and I get tossed to this hip side. And what I'm gonna do in this situation is I'm gonna look to make the first point of contact with the ground with this hand. Now, I'm not gonna try to stop myself here because I could risk breaking my wrist or dislocating my shoulder, but rather I'm just gonna look to sort of push off the ground and buy a little bit of time to help save that hip when it hits the ground. So when this happens, my butt and my hip hits the ground, I push off, and the momentum often starts swinging me around to that corresponding shoulder side. So when that happens, right after I make this contact and this butt touches the ground, I'm already looking to make contact on my corresponding shoulder side with this forearm and palm, and I'm gonna sort of lay it down and let that slap happen as the momentum forces me to swing that way. So I fall, I push, and I smack. Again, that is, I'm gonna fall, push, smack the ground, and come back up. A lot of the times the momentum as you start swinging to that shoulder side is so significant that you end up having to just roll over that shoulder. For demonstration purposes, I'm gonna look to make contact with that hip side hand. I'm gonna allow myself to fall to that hip side, butt side, and then I'm gonna swing around, smack the ground with that corresponding shoulder side arm, and then roll over that shoulder before standing back up. A couple disclaimers to wrap this up are: one, I don't recommend practicing this on concrete if you're just learning. Whatever you do, find a soft, low impact surface to learn on, because this can be a dangerous technique and you can get hurt if not done correctly. As skateboarders, you know that falling can be very unpredictable and you're not always going to be set up well for that breakfall technique, and it's not meant to be a catch-all. However, if you can learn this technique and incorporate it into your game as skateboarders, I think you'll find it to be very effective and will help you avoid a lot of injury down the road, both in the context of skateboarding and in life.